So welcome back to the shop, everybody. My name is Andy with Boatworks today, and in this video we're going to be focusing on some gel coat tinting and color matching. Now, when you're looking at finishing off a type of repair and you're going to be using gel coat, the repair is only going to look as good as the actual match of the color of the gel coat. And that is a very, very important step, and also arguably probably one of the most complicated steps. But there are some little tips and tricks along the way that can help you get from A to B much sooner. We're going to focus on a couple of the basics to at least try and get you started off in the right direction. Now, when we're talking about, the very first step is, you got to get your base of your gel coat right. Now, for the most part, gel coat comes in two different varieties. It comes in either with a white base or as a neutral. For kind of the easiest way to describe this, if you're looking for, to mix up a very bright or vibrant color, something like a candy apple red or a very bright banana yellow or something along those lines, you're gonna have to start with a neutral base, because that's the only way you're gonna be able to get those bright colors. If you were looking for more of like that pastel colors, your whites, your beiges, anything along those lines, now you're gonna start with a white base. What will happen if you start with a white and you're trying to get to that very bright, vibrant color, instead of getting a candy apple red, you're gonna be stuck with a pink. And it doesn't matter how much pigment you add in there, that's as bright and vibrant as you're gonna get. Now, when we're talking about what's gonna be the most common, I would say for 90% of all repair projects out there, you're gonna be starting with a white base, because that's what most boats are. There's some variation of a white, off-white, a cream, a beige, whatever, something along those lines. Those are all going to be starting off with a white base. And within that white base, you have, again, two different varieties. You have a base that'll come with wax or a base that comes without wax. Now, that same approach applies to, like, if you're doing fiberglass. If the base component contains wax, it is a finishing type coating. So you get to apply one single layer, and then that's it. You let it cure. It will fully cure in sand beautifully the next day. Whereas if you're using the non-waxed version, that's laminating material. So you can lay up material every half hour, 45 minutes. You can come back the following day, the following week, and lay up new material without having to do any further prep on that surface. So overall, what I strongly recommend is that when you're going in to try and do a repair project, you're gonna wanna mix up more gel coat than what you actually need. Like, let's just say in theory, you only need something, to patch the size of a quarter. You're still gonna wanna mix up at least a pint of gel coat, and you can save that material pre-mixed, capped, uncatalyzed. And you can save that, keep it in a climate-controlled area. Meaning specifically not in your garage where it's going to swing up to 100 degrees and then back down to like 20 degrees. If you can maintain a consistent temperature, that material will store and still be good for at least 12 months. So I always, recommend whenever you're going to go through the tinting process, because it is a process. Mix up, tint more than you need, so that, down the road, when you do need to do another touch-up because the dock jumped out and decided to kiss your hull, you've got that material on hand that you can easily just, get that, little ding or chip turned around very quickly. Now, when we're talking about the actual tinting process, I mentioned this, most boats out there are some version of white, whether it's an actual white, off-white, cream, beige. Most boats out there are some along those lines. And when you're dealing with colors, like that, there's really only 3 color pigments that you're going to need. And in different ratios, you can use these 3 pigment colors to get damn near any color that you need within that white, off-white, beige, cream family. Those 3 colors are going to be your brown, your yellow, and black. And when you're trying to mix this material into your white base, a little bit goes a long ways. And there's some tricks that I've kind of picked up and kind of refined over the years on how to very gradually add this pigment in, and I want to kind of pan in and show you my process for doing that. Now, when I say a little bit of pigment goes a long way, I'm not exaggerating. So just to give you an idea, this little bit of black will be enough to tint probably close to almost a quart of gel coat. And we're going to repeat this process for all three colors, the black, the brown, as well as the yellow. And if you want, you can kind of spread this pigment on the stick instead of keeping it as a thick line. The thinner that you can get this material spread out on here, gradually you're going to be able to mix it in with your gel coat when you're trying to tint your base cup. So this is what we're looking for, and again, just this little bit of pigment on these sticks will be enough to tint close to a quart of white base. Now, when you're tinting your gel coat, there is one key that I can't stress enough, and that is when the base that you use, even if it's, regardless if it's neutral or white, start with a laminating gel coat base. Just for the very reason that you can come back and do several coats over a period of time to build that thickness that you're looking for without having to do any additional prep. Step one, anytime you're using material, give it a good shake just to make sure all the solids and components are well combined inside the can before you pour any out. But pour out more than what you think you're going to need. So again, I touched on this. Just because you only need a little bit for, say, this one particular touch-up, there's going to be future touch-ups. So mix up, as long as you're going through this process, mix up more than what you're going to need. Now, as far as adding this pigment to your white base, I've mentioned this before and I can't stress it enough. A little bit goes a long ways. So these little sticks that we use to apply the pigment to our larger sticks over here, don't touch these. These can go right in the garbage. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to take, typically the first pigment that I'll add is going to be some black, because no boat is just a straight bright white. So typically the first pigment that I'll add is a little bit of black just to kind of take the harshness off of that bright white. And when you're doing that, the most accurate way to add this pigment in is to take a scoop, add it to your pigmented stick. Because your pigment is spread on this larger stick in a very thin layer, now you can just slowly mix and mix, and you'll see that the gel coat that we added to the stick, it's slowly starting to incorporate and combine with that pigment. Just keep on doing this, and then the drops, one drop at a time, drips into the overall cup. So essentially what you're doing is you're adding a diluted version of this pigment, one drop at a time. What I've seen a lot of people do is they'll take a little stick like this, and they're like, this sounds good, it's got some pigment on it, I'll just mix it all in. You don't want to do that. You will overshoot your color, I 100% guarantee it. So again, just kind of grab a little bit more. You can always add pigment, but it's really hard to take it out. If you overshoot any particular color when you're trying to mix this, you're going to have to almost double the volume of gel coat in here of straight white base just to dial it back a couple of shades. Think baby steps. That's really what we're after here when we're tinting this gel coat. And then each of these colors will all be done the exact same way. Just add a little bit of the base on your tinted stick, mix it in, and just let it drip off into your overall cup. So hopefully this helps you out, at least get started off on the right foot with your project. And as always, if you have any questions on how to use any of these products, you can certainly give the TotalBoat crew here a call and they will be more than happy to help you out.